Welcome to Behind the Muscle podcast. Today's guest is an NPC bodybuilder. Today's guest is Trey Adcock. Trey, welcome back to the podcast, man.
What's up, man? How's it going?
Oh, it's going well, dude. I'm looking forward to kind of catching up with you. Before we hit record, I just said we're going to kind of do a little recap of USA's. We talked right before USA's this last July, and then we're just going to kind of talk off season and catch up with you. So let's start with USA's. Why don't you tell us what place you got and what were some of your thoughts post USA's? Just talk about that for a quick minute.
Well, I got sixth place in the super heavies, and definitely, I think I deserve that. I have my thoughts afterwards where I definitely need to get better and bigger. So yeah, I mean, Stu won the whole show, and he won the super heavies class. Well deserved, and I mean, he looked great.
Yeah. What was in terms of, I guess, just the overall size? Now, did you talk to any of the judges or anything like that after USA's? I mean, did they compliment you on your structure? Like, what did they say if you chatted with them, Trey?
I didn't. I'm actually awful at doing stuff like that after shows. My main goal is just to get better, bigger, keep my shape and just get better and bigger from there. So I didn't talk to anybody after the show, but definitely thought, I talked to a bunch of I guess bigger name coaches and just some pros in general. And, they told me some, kind of things I needed to work on, but, things I already knew, like I need to get my back better. I'm 6 foot, so you got to put on more size. It's definitely a size game when you're 6 foot. You can't get on stage being 230 or whatever. So it's rough for us 6 foot guys.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I can't remember because that was last July was a long time ago, but was that your first pro qualifier or national level show, or had you competed at the USA's or nationals something previously?
I did North Americans in 2019, but I was like second call outs, wasn't even in the picture, but it was a good experience. I felt coming into USA's 3 years later, I was in a better position to, do something or actually be in that mix. And I got in the first call out. So that's what I wanted, so hopefully, next time it'll be the, top spot.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. Cool. Okay. Now after USA's, I'm assuming that you probably took a little time off. But why don't you talk about, did you try to catch the rebound or did you immediately take some time off? What happened, right? Like post USA's for you in terms of, just allowing your body to recover and things like that?
So I definitely, had a kind of a week to kind of chill. We were in Vegas for I think the next 3 to 4 days, so we kind of just relaxed. I still worked out a little bit, but I think the day after the show I got a pump. After that, just kind of relaxed the rest of that week. But after that week, man, I was kind of right back into it, and I did catch the rebound. We tried to rebound hard, and obviously, I mean, it worked pretty well. I put on a lot of weight, a lot of size, and I kept, I feel like my leanness was pretty good too. So,
okay, cool, man. So did you take any time off, or did you just kind of get right into it and kind of kept the ball rolling up to this point?
kind of right into it. I've had a couple, like maybe 2 deloads from, USA's, but I guess other than that, I've been kind of just grinding, trying to get there.
Okay, excellent, man. So let's talk a little bit about your coach, Coach Bleu Taylor. I've had several of his clients on here recently, and they speak very highly of him. I know Stu is coached by Bleu as well. So talk about connecting with him and how working with him has been going in terms of this off-season, Trey.
Yeah, so I hit up Blue like right after USA's. I wanted to, congratulate him on Stu winning, the whole show first and everything. And we just got to chat, and I wanted to talk to him. I got on a call with him, and, within a week, I was probably like a week or two, I was with him and, kind of training with him. Ever since, man, everything's been great. I kind of went to him because I knew, Stu was a big guy, and I know, Blue kind of works with the big boys, and I knew my problem was size. It wasn't getting in shape, so that's kind of where I went. And me and Blue talked about it, got a plan together, rebounded hard, and then hopefully, we do something, towards the end of this year and do well.
Okay, excellent, man. Now, what's been something that Bleu has maybe changed up for you in terms of like previous coaches, or maybe added to your arsenal that you feel like has kind of helped take your game to the next level during the off season? Is it more food, different training? Like, touch on that, Trey.
I would definitely say probably training and food both, honestly. I'd say food more than anything. I was already training pretty hard and knew how to train, but he's given me a few things to, work on. Like, my back days were definitely not what they are now. Sometimes like so I usually do back Tuesdays and I think Fridays, and usually like Tuesday is just a row day, like basically row till you puke. So, I wasn't really used to something like that. It's like a barbell row, dumbbell row, T-bar rows, so you got basically all the rows in that day. So, which I needed. I mean, my back's, weak. I definitely need to bring it up. So I would say training in that aspect, really everything else, it's just heavy compounds. I've been kind of playing with the training a little bit, doing basically like one top set, and I'll do like, 6 to 10 reps heavy. Once I get to 10 reps, then I bump weight up, and then my back off set, I'm kind of weird with it. I'll usually go anywhere from like 13 to 18 reps. And I know once I start getting close to that 18 mark to kind of bump up the weight there as well. So, most of my stuff, is pretty low volume, not really high volume at all. I'm not a high volume guy. So usually it's like maybe 2 sets per exercise and then move to the next thing, and then as far as, food, man, I'm eating an uncomfortable amount of food right now. It's pretty rough, and I know, I think people that know Bleu know that he pushes food pretty hard for the big guys. And I think that's what my body needed, honestly, especially after the show. And it was crazy how my body just soaked it all up and just kept getting leaner and leaner.
Mm. Okay, now what's kind of been your training split for the most part in terms of this off season? What have you been doing? Like, just if you know it off the top of your head, Trey.
Oh yeah, I mean, basically, I think I got it memorized. But I've only been working out like 5 days a week. I'll like Monday I'll do a push day, so it's more of chest, and then just like 3 shoulder exercises. Tuesday is the back day, like I said, and then I'll take Wednesday off. Thursday is like a quad and ham, type day. So it's just my leg day basically. And then Friday is another back day, but it's more of like vertical pulling. And then Saturday is just like a little arm day. I don't really do too much with arms. So honestly, it's probably, I would say that like today I missed yesterday's arm day. So today I'm going to do it. And it's probably just like a 45-minute workout. Nothing crazy.
Okay, cool, man. And you said you're training 5 days a week. Is that what I heard, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, have you always trained 5 days a week, or have you done like all 7 in the past, or what's that been like, previously?
It kind of varies, I think when I was younger, you don't ever want to miss the gym. So I probably was in the gym a little too much when I was younger. And then, the last 3 years I was doing, I think like 6 days, but you have those days like today, that's an arm day. That's practically an off day. It's not really an off day, but kind of get in there and move some blood around. But yeah, the 5 days have just been this past since I've been with Bleu, and I've enjoyed it, man. I think my body's actually needed it. I know a lot of people, do like the 2 on 1 off splits or the 3 on 1 off splits. I've kind of learned my body that if I go anything past 2 days, that I'm just like wrecking myself. So I like to just do like a 2-day, and then I have that off day, and then I have the back or the leg and back day, and then I have the arm day, which is pretty much nothing. So
Okay.
I kind of like keeping recovery like that.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Now, food, do you kind of know like what your macros are? Do you kind of know the numbers, or you're not really necessarily keeping too much on tap with that? Is that all Blue's thing?
That's Bleu. I haven't even like added it up, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
I have a lot of people asking me all the time like how much he's got me eating, and I really have no idea. I mean, like I said, I can send you my meal plan. That's about it.
Yeah, yeah. Now, how does Bleu with you, because everybody's obviously different, how does he handle like refeeds or cheat meals? Like, what's that look like for you during this off season, Trey?
So right now, I get 1 a week. So I'm just going out with my wife on the weekend and we'll go eat whatever. I usually don't go crazy with it. At first I was doing a lot of sushi, but I'm not a huge sushi guy for real. I get tired of it after a while. After about 3 or 4 rolls, I'm like, okay, let's not do this anymore. But usually I just do like a burger and fry. That's about it.
Okay. Where's the burger and fry coming from? What restaurant or what place?
So I have a place like right by my house. It's called Santa Fe. It's a steakhouse. I think it's a chain place, maybe in the I guess the South probably. But I'll just go there, man. I love their fries. Their burgers always great. So
Can't go wrong with that, right? Burger and fries, man. Basic and simple, but effective, right?
yeah.
Cool. Now, before we go any further with bodybuilding talk, this is obviously going to coincide with bodybuilding talk, but I know when we were kind of DMing back and forth on Instagram to set this up, you kind of said that you'd been really busy working a lot. And so then I couldn't remember from our previous conversation what your career or job was. And you said you're an occupational therapist and you've been working a bunch of 12-hour shifts, even having to do some of the overnight stuff. So talk about, how you kind of are able to balance the professional side of things in terms of your career and how you pay the bills and this off-season bodybuilding, because I know you have some really high expectations for yourself in 2023 and in the future in terms of being an IFBB pro. But obviously we have to pay the bills. So talk about your career, maybe working some of the overnights and how you kind of are balancing that or fitting bodybuilding into the career and vice versa, Trey.
Yeah, man, it's definitely rough sometimes. I don't have a cake job where I can sit down all day. So, I'm usually, when I work the night shifts, I'm helping out the nursing staff just because we're pretty low staffed. I think most hospitals are, from what I gather. But at least where I live, I don't know about, elsewhere. But, usually I'm just kind of helping them out. I answer call lots whenever people need call lots. It's not really the I guess cleanest work. I'm helping people that can't use the bathroom, use the bathroom, cleaning them up, all that kind of stuff, and helping nursing out. So yeah, just that, man. And usually, like, I'm back to days now, so I'm not really working the nights anymore. I did that for probably like the first month and a half this year, and then I was like, you know what, let's get back to days. So, and my therapy department needed me. So basically, I'm back to therapy now. So I'm just helping rehab, people, getting them back to where they used to be, so.
So is it pretty flexible for you in terms of like you getting your meals in and being able to do all that type of stuff? Or is that kind of sometimes difficult to do at your job?
It's not too bad. I'm usually drinking my shake on the way to work. So I'll get there at 7. I usually have another shake that I'll drink around 9 or 10. I have lunch at 12, so I'll get to, eat there and sit down. I'll eat a solid meal there. And then I get off around like 3:30-ish, depending on, documentation. And once I'm done off work, usually I'll eat again and then go straight to the gym. So that's, 4 meals before the workout, and then I'll eat, 2 more, after.
Okay, cool, man. Now, you said that in the evening you're right around 300 pounds before we turned on the recording here. Is that the heaviest you've ever been, or have you been up around this weight previously? And then how far are you guys going to take it, do you think, in terms of body weight?
Yeah, never in my life have I weighed this. It's a struggle, man. Everything is a lot harder at this weight. I mean, I think tying my shoes is like my biggest task for the day. Once I get those on, I'm good. But yeah, I don't really know exactly how far we're gonna push it. I wouldn't mind getting up a little more. Anywhere from like 310 and like staying lean. That would be great for once we get on stage. I think I'd hold a lot of that. So. I don't know exactly how long we're going to push it. I know we're still, in off season up until August. So, we got plenty of time to keep pushing.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You're probably going to exceed 300 pretty easily by the time August comes. Now, you mentioned the most difficult thing in your day is tying your shoes right now. I've heard a lot of the other, usually it's the pros that get around the 300-pound mark in their off season talking about inconveniences. What are some that you want to share with us? What are some other inconveniences of being 300 pounds, Trey?
Oh God. Well, my wife's like right beside me. She's like, "Well, I have to take your shirt off sometimes." I guess if the pump's too bad, yeah, she has to help me with the shirt taking off. But honestly, the shoe, anything bending over, man, the shoes are rough. Getting socks on, man, are real. I feel like at work we got sock aids. I feel like I need like a sock aid to like throw down there and pull my socks on. Those are pretty rough. I had to get a CPAP. I got a CPAP like probably about a month ago. And that was the first thing Blue, told me. He was like, "Hey man, you're a big dude." He's like, "You need a CPAP." And I had no idea. I was pretty run down, like during the day I was pretty tired, like almost like just nonstop. So I was like, man, maybe I do need to get a CPAP. So I've been using one for like a month now, and I feel a lot better with it. So it kind of, the only bad thing I'd say right now, just getting used to it. My throat's a little dry, but I mean, I wake up, I feel a lot better. So I think it's been helping. But yeah, I would say probably putting on the shoes, like sitting down.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you at the point where if you have to walk upstairs, you're getting winded, Trey?
No, I'm not too bad with that stuff. Not yet.
Okay. Now, I'm assuming that coworkers of yours and patients and clients of yours, at the occupational therapist, job, I'm assuming they have remarks, or they ask you like, are you like questions? Like, talk about that for a minute, because I'm sure you get some pretty funny stuff, don't you?
Oh my gosh, dude. So yesterday, this is just yesterday, man, but this happens almost daily. But there was like 6 women in wheelchairs just right in front. And I'm like, I go to my computer and they're like, "Oh man, them arms." She's like, "You must have worked hard for them arms." And then this one lady was like, "Yeah, he looks like Popeye." And then, there was another lady, she was like right there with him, and she was like, "Yeah, she said something like the sleeves. She said, "Is it hard to find shirts because your sleeves are so tight?" And I was like, "Yeah, well, scrubs are different, but yeah." I was like, "Yeah, sure." And she was like, "Well, you should just cut them off anyway." And then she was talking about ripping it off. And she's like, "Yeah, you could do it like," she said, like those wrestlers. I think she was talking about Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, yeah.
She's like, "Yeah, you could do it like those wrestlers, or maybe a stripper." And I was like, "All right." So yeah, that happens daily for me.
Yeah, yeah. I can only imagine, man. That's great. Now, cardio, are you guys doing any type of cardio in the off season, or is it just the weight training?
Yeah, yeah, dude. Blue's big on the cardio, man. He wants me to stay on it. I'm doing like 30-minute sessions 5 days a week right now. I need to get better with it. I slack a little bit, especially when I'm working so much, man. It's so hard to, make yourself do the cardio with the workouts and everything. But I know being this size, it's very important.
Yeah, for sure. And how much cardio are you doing? How many minutes, like per session or per week?
Usually I do like 30 minutes 5 times a week. I'll just do it on the I like the elliptical. That's my favorite.
Okay, cool, man.
Easier on the joints.
For sure, absolutely. Okay, now let's talk about. I know you just said that you're going to be in the off season until up until about August. So I'm assuming that Nationals is kind of the show that you guys are gunning for in 2023. Talk about that game plan, or why you guys decided on Nationals.
Yeah, originally, we had talked about doing North Americans, and I was all game for that. I honestly wanted USA's again because I really think I can win that show. But it's a shorter time period, doesn't really give me as much time to grow. So we were thinking about North Americans, and then I have a buddy on the team that's with Blue, and he wanted to do North Americans as well. We're both supers, so Blue just asked me if I wanted to do it or if we wanted to just keep off season rolling, and I told him I didn't care, honestly, So I let him do North Americans, and I'm going to end up doing Nationals. So I feel like Nationals is a pretty good, I've never done Nationals. So it'll be a different, I guess thing for me. And then, I know the top 2 get pro cards. So, that's a better chance. So
Yeah, but you want to win the overall though, right, Trey?
that's the goal,
I know, but you know what? I think a lot of guys, obviously I'm assuming most of you going in, you want to get first place or get that overall. But most guys, when I talk to them after the competition and they get second and they still get their pro card, most of them are still pretty happy. I haven't had any of them complain yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think any of them are going to turn down a pro card.
Yeah, for sure, man. Okay, now just to kind of keep things a little light and a little fun here, let's go back to last year. Obviously, you competed at USA's, and then we had North Americans, and then we had nationals. I'm assuming that you're probably cordial or friendly with some of the guys that turned pro last year from some of the national competitions and some of the guys that didn't. But obviously, Stu was very impressive. I think Felix at North Americans, the overall winner there, was very impressive. A lot like you, he's got the structure. He's got to bring up his back. He's got to put on a ton of size because he's a taller guy. But whether it was an overall winner or somebody got their pro card or somebody that didn't get their pro card, were there any guys from any of those three major pro qualifiers last year, Trey, that really impressed you in terms of their physique and what they brought to the national level stage?
Well, like you named, I mean, Stu and Felix, I think, were probably the best. I think they stepped on stage last year at a national show. I mean, I saw Stu in person, so he's like a tank. So, he looked great. I haven't seen Felix in person, but man, he looks impressive, dude. Like, and I think he's right at 300 right now too in the off season, and the dude is insane. I mean, he's got great structure and just a freak. So yeah, he looks great. Yeah, and I had a bunch of friends that did it too. I mean, even I respect the guys like Cole Eastvold that, he did basically every national show last year, man. That's hats off to that dude, because there is no way. I don't think I could do that, man. But I mean, he grinded all year. That's just very much respect for me, man.
For sure. Absolutely, man. You got any thoughts on this coming weekend's Arnold Classic for open men's? What do you got for me, Trey? What do you think?
Oh man, so I've been working so much I haven't really kept up with it much. I know I saw some pictures of Sampson this morning. I mean, that dude, he looks pretty impressive from the Olympia. So I mean, he looks great. I'm a huge fan of Andrew Jack. I met him in Vegas at the USA's, and the dude was like the nicest guy ever. I mean, not only probably the biggest human I've ever seen, but super awesome guy, man. Like one of a kind dude. So I like him. I'm always going to root for that guy to win because he's just a genuinely good dude. Big Rami's probably got a chip on his shoulder from the Olympia, so I'm sure he's going to want to come in pretty good. Of course, Nick Walker. That dude's going to be in there. I think he's the favorite to win, honestly, from what I've heard. And I hope I'm not missing anybody, but I think those four are pretty solid.
Okay. Cool. Absolutely. Now, I'm sure we touched on this probably back in July, but you were very close to competing, and I'm sure we probably brought it up on some level, but I want to bring it up again. So let's just say that you turn pro at nationals this year, at the end of the year. How soon, and obviously I know that you have to talk to Bleu and it'll be a team thing and have the game plan and all that, but how soon would you like to be able to step on a pro stage if you turn pro at nationals this year?
Oh, dude, I think probably just knowing my body and what I'll need to, be competitive with those guys, probably 2 to 3 years, maybe. I would want to take probably that much time off to, grow.
Yeah. Okay. And then what would you like to accomplish as a competitive bodybuilder before your time's up, so to speak, in terms of competing, Trey?
Man, that's a crazy question. Honestly, I didn't even know. Like when I was like 20, 22, my whole thing was like, man, I just want to give it a shot, see if I can go pro. And now it's like I think I'm close. So it's like, I definitely, that's a goal to turn pro. So, I mean, I never really set I set some, I guess, pretty crazy goals, but I think before I've, it's bodybuilding's kind of like this. You're like in this tunnel and you're just digging your way out of it, and you can finally see the light. But, once you get to that light, like let's say it's getting your pro card, there's like another tunnel and it's like, oh man, am I ever going to get out of this? Right. So, I don't know. I tell my wife all the time, I think I'm only going to do this probably I think for like another 10 years max. I mean, unless something crazy happens and I just grow unreal, get to the Olympia and win, then I don't see myself, doing this past 40. But I mean, goal wise, honestly, man, I would just like to win like, or just do like a top 10 at a pro show, man. That would be, goal enough for me. Going to the Arnold would be crazy, even if I got last place, or the Olympia, anything like that would just be like a cherry on top, man. Like, I don't really see myself at that caliber yet. So it's hard to set goals for that. But I would say, any like invite to an Olympia or Arnold would be crazy.
Awesome, man. And you're right. I love that, the tunnel analogy, because, the tunnel as an NPC athlete is, it's very long. And like you said, you start seeing the light. And then if you do get that pro card, you get out of the tunnel, so to speak, dude, you're going right back down in that tunnel, and it's going to be a longer tunnel, and it's going to be, more arduous and all of it. Right, Trey?
No, man, it's crazy. Like you don't really know the level until you see it. And at these local shows, you can go to a local show at a young age and you're like, oh, these guys aren't that impressive. But then you go to like a pro show and you're like, oh, this is what it's like. This is different.
For sure, man. Okay, now something I want to touch on. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you got married since the last time we chatted. You proposed to your fiance at USA's, right? Or right after, and then you guys got married. Talk about that, because that's obviously a big life happening since we last chatted.
Yeah, man. So that was, we kind of had planned it like at USA's that we were just going to get married there. I didn't really want anything like huge. Like we didn't want to spend a ton of money on a wedding. Like we knew we'd been together for a while and we knew that we were going to get married. So we were just like, let's just, do it here. And, of course, I had to propose, do all that. So that was fun, man. Vegas is a cool place. So, I mean, it'll always hold a special place in my heart. But yeah, man, life's been good since too, man. Just been
cool.
Been living, it feels almost like, nothing's changed because we've been together for so long.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I at least wanted to bring that up because I thought that you guys had gotten married and stuff. So that's always just kind of a cool happening in life. So, anything, so, okay, obviously bodybuilding and your job. Let's talk. I want to ask you, Trey, what, and this can be bodybuilding related. It can be life related. Like, we don't have to be always in the box of bodybuilding.
Yeah.
But is there anything over this last, let's just say 6 months, that you've learned, whether that's bodybuilding related, life related, anything that kind of sticks out when I ask you that question in terms of like life lessons or anything that you've learned recently?
Oh man. I feel like, every day with me, I feel like is just a lesson to be grateful. I don't really necessarily, think of anything in particular, like big in particular, but, just like my dad having back surgery and not taking things for granted, or time with him, or, time with family, and like I said, I work at a place where every day I'm going into work and I'm seeing people less fortunate with, things that, tragedies happen, whether they've had a crazy, we've had people that have like had fallen off houses, they've had strokes that are really severe, broken hips, stuff like that, man. So it's like, and they're, they may be older too. So, they have a daughter or a son, or, somebody that's, might be missing them, or whether, depending on how severe it is, we've had a lot of people that have passed away from COVID. So, it's just, the whole thing is just really just about, I guess, taking every day as you can, as much as you can, take it in, enjoy it, don't be bitter about things that don't matter. Just really, enjoy life, man. It's short, things aren't going to last forever. So just enjoy it while you can, and, get the most out of life.
Yeah. Amen to that. What's the gym scene like for you down there? You're in Alabama, right?
Yeah, it's it's okay, man. There's actually I'm lucky that I have a few friends. There's one guy that I did one of my first shows ever with, and he owns a gym, which is pretty nice, man. It's pretty hardcore, and it's like maybe 15 minutes from the house, so it's not too bad. There's one chain here that's, I mean, it's been blowing up, but there's so many kids in there, man. It's really, it's crazy this time of year, all the high school kids that'll get in there, and it's It's crazy to me because, you know, I wasn't even really in the gym until I was like 19. When I was in high school, we just worked out at the field house. So, you know, it's kind of insane to me to go to this place and you see all these little girls that look like they're 13 wearing nothing. And then you got these kids with the short shorts and wearing tank tops and they're probably 100 pounds. It's so, you know, like, oh, you know, sometimes it can be frustrating, but hey, we all start somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. Cool, man. Well, I think we kind of just, like I said, I wanted to kind of catch up with you, Trey, and let all the viewers and listeners kind of see where you're at as you're deep into the off season. So I think we kind of hit on all the hot topics, so to speak. Before I do a quick outro and I let you go, why don't you give us your Instagram? If you have any final thoughts or any final words for us, you can leave us with that. And then any shout outs, anything like that. Why don't you take it from here? I'll do a quick outro and then I'll let you go, Trey.
All right. Well, my Instagram is TreySubs44. You know, pretty simple. And then I guess, you know, I'm just thankful for my family, my wife, you know, everybody in my life that's positive. You know, I appreciate everybody. You know, everybody that supports me. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay, cool. Now, are you still connected with Jack Factory or?
Oh yeah. I'm with them for sure.
Okay. Do you have like a code or something that people can use if they want to support you?
Yeah, it's just Trey, man, and you get like I think it's 10 or 15% off, you know, on every order. So, and we actually just dropped a new Nitro Surge Max pre-workout. I think we dropped that Tuesday. So we did that. I know my wife has her meal prep company. It's called Brooks Meals, but it's a local thing. So anybody, you know, local in Bama, you know, hop on that. All the meals are what I've prepped with, you know. So yeah.
Excellent. Is there a website for your wife's meal prep? What if so, what is that?
I think you can just go to her Instagram. It's just Brooks_meals_.
Okay, cool. All right, Trey, I'm going to do a quick outro, then I'll let you go. But thanks for coming back on, man, and catching us up to speed with the off season. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, man. Hey, I always appreciate you, man. I appreciate what you do for the small bodybuilder, you know, community.
No, it's my pleasure, man. I have a lot of fun. So, all of you who are tuning into another episode of Behind the Muscle podcast, I just want to say thank you so very much. If you guys have not done so already, please make sure you hit that subscribe button in regards to Behind the Muscle podcast on YouTube. And then also, please take this episode of Trey, share it on your Instagram stories. Make sure you tag Trey, tag Behind the Muscle podcast so that we know that you listened specifically to this episode and found great value in it, in which I know you did. And then finally, I will leave you all with this. Remember, behind the muscle, there's always a story. We'll catch you guys later.